My dear students, so now we are going to be talking about, or should I say, we will be more focused on listening and speaking. I hope you understand that. Listening and speaking. While we are under the listening and speaking topic, we are going to focus more on a dialogue. I hope we understand each other. We are going to be focusing more on a dialogue. Linda, can you tell us what is a dialogue? What is a dialogue? If you any chance know, if you by any chance know what is a dialogue, can you please share with us what is a dialogue? Well, okay. Linda has no clue. Nomthandazo, what is a dialogue? My dear Nomthandazo, what is a dialogue? So you all today have no idea what is a dialogue? Well, fine, we move. A dialogue. So now I am going to tell you what is a dialogue. I'm going to read for you what is a dialogue and then write for you on the board so that you can take notes. I don't want to be coming here tomorrow and ask you what is a dialogue when I want us to reflect on today's lesson and I ask you what is a dialogue and then you do not know. I want you to take notes as to what is a dialogue that I'm going to write on the board as to what is a dialogue. Go home and read those notes because I don't want to be arguing with you not knowing what is a dialogue. Okay, fine. A dialogue is a written conversation between two or more people. Hold the thoughts while I write on the board, but let me just repeat it for you. A dialogue is a written conversation between two people or more, right? Let me write for you on the board so that you can take notes. And a dialogue is a written conversation between two or more people. Good people, on the board we have a definition of a dialogue. So please do take note what a dialogue is. Okay, fine. Now that we know what is a dialogue, I am going to read for you. Since I said it's going to be about listening and speaking, you are going to listen to me while I read for you an example of a dialogue so that you know how a dialogue looks. But before I get into reading for you what a dialogue is, there is something that I need to clarify first. Good people, when you are writing a dialogue, firstly, you need to introduce the dialogue. You don't just wake up and say, Linda says, da 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 da. Nomthandazo is saying, da da da. No, you don't just do that. You start by introducing the dialogue. What do I mean by saying I introduce dialogue? What do you think is a better way or best way to introduce a dialogue? I know you have learned about dialogue in your previous grades. Maybe there's something, little something that you pick up from those previous grades. So if there is something that you've picked up or something that you remember, can you please share with the whole class? How does one introduce a dialogue? Please, any one of you who wants to share with the whole class how to introduce a dialogue. Even if there is nothing that you remember from your previous grades, anything that you think would be a best way to introduce a topic. I'm giving you a chance. I am giving you a chance before I start telling you what is it. I just want to hear your prior knowledge. I want to talk to people whom I know what do they think or what is that little information they have in their minds. Yes, Zimbili? Yes, we're listening. Yes, Zimbili here is saying you should state the names of the people who are going to be changing conversations on the dialogue, as in like we need to introduce the characters. Zimbili, I agree with you. To add on what Zimbili has said and to clarify even more on what Zimbili has shared with the whole class. Good people, firstly, when you introduce a dialogue, you need to put into brackets who are the characters we are going to find on the dialogue. Who are they? We want their names. That's the first thing we need to know. We need to know the setting. What is the setting? What is the setting? Okay. A setting is a place where the whole story is taking place. That is a setting. We need to know the characters' names. We need to know the setting as to where are they? Where are they? We need to know what is it that brought them together and what is it that they are talking about. That is how you introduce a dialogue. You don't just wake up and say, somebody is saying, Tando is saying. No. You need to tell us, for an example, Linda and Nogwazi are on their way to school chatting about an upcoming test next week. That is the introduction. We know that this is Linda and Nogwazi. We know that they are on their way to school. We know that they are talking about an upcoming test they are going to be writing next week. That is how you introduce the topic. Then you get into the development of the dialogue. There is where you will be telling us what are they saying, their exact words. How are they exchanging them? The words. If ever it happens that one of them is showing emotions, you open the brackets and tell us that Zimbiri is crying. I hope you understand. If one of them shows emotion, if Tando is laughing, you open the brackets and say laughing so that we know that Zimbili is laughing. Don't just write without showing people's emotions. We don't even know when they are sad or they are happy or they are laughing or they are doing whatever. We need to know that they are laughing. Don't just think they are laughing and move on with the conversation. Tell us that they are laughing if they are laughing. Okay, since I promised you that I'm going to read for you an example of a dialogue that I have on my book, and can you please turn on to page 135? That is where you're going to find the dialogue that I'm going to read. The reason why I want us to be on the same page is because I want to read while you're also reading with your eyes. I don't want people to be left behind while I move, because everything here is about you all. I want you to understand. I already have the knowledge, so there is no need for me to run past you while I leave you behind. So that is why I ask you genuinely from my heart, from the bottom of my heart, to turn on page 135. You're going to find a dialogue that I will be reading just now. As I said, listening and speaking, you are going to listen to me while I read for you a dialogue. Thank you. Okay. It is later, around 15 o'clock in the afternoon, when Tando and Pearl are discussing about the will that their father left them. You heard that? I said that this is Tando and Pearl. They are in the kitchen in the afternoon discussing about the will that their father left them. That is an introduction for you. Okay, getting to the body of the will. Pearl is crying and she is saying, "But sister, how could Dad do this to us? Why would he let our brother, secure all the things while we get only his savings?" Then Tando responds, "What my dad did to us is unfair. How come he could give our brother almost 90% of his estate while we get only his savings? What are savings though?" That's Tando's response. Pearl crying. "I don't know how we're going to live with the peanuts that they call savings. And then Thando responds and say, "Do not worry, my sister, I am going to find a way to get us something tangible." And then Pearl responds, "But how? The will was read in front of the whole family." And then the other one responds and say, "Do not worry, I have my own ways." There is a conversation between Tando and Pearl later in the afternoon discussing about the will that their father left them. It is pretty clear that they are not happy. I'm so sorry. It is pretty clear that they are not happy about the will that their father left them, in which in the will their father gave their older brother his business, his whole business, while they just got his savings, which are going to be divided halfly into the both of them, of which they say it is nothing compared to the whole business that is given to their sister. They're actually complaining about the will that their father left them. Now, guys, I hope you understand how a will looks like, how to introduce a will. I would like to give you this chance to tell me wherever you are left behind so that I can clarify even more on that so that we are all on the same page. I see your hands. I'm going to take your questions and answer them as soon as possible.